Right, so today we're going to be looking at adding rocket fuel to your dynamic CRM. Right, so we are going to be highlighting some of the challenges around the managing customer data, specifically in Microsoft Dynamics, and at the end demonstrating a potential solution to overcome some of those challenges. So just to set the scene, we have a 30-minute webinar here today. It's short but sweet, and it's going to be broken down roughly into a 20-minute presentation, a 5-minute quick demo, and then a 5-minute Q&A at the end. And feel free to drop questions into the chat as we go through the presentation, and I will make sure to pick them up at the end. So really, the purpose of today is to raise awareness of the large impact of low quality data. So running along the theme that we have going this week. Is to also highlight some real world data challenges, and in doing so, illustrate how you can add rocket fuel to your dynamic CRM to propel your business forward in the data world. So just to introduce myself, my name is Conor Doyle. I am an account manager / business development here at DQ Global, and we are a data management company that's based on the south coast of England. So we typically deal with IT, sales, marketing professionals who are concerned with the quality of their data. Typically, we're hearing people are fed up with their data management tools, that they're not powerful enough when trying to tackle hundreds or thousands of duplicate records at once. Or we're hearing frustrations around CRM users not fully adopting CRM systems, which causes data quality concerns. And also a big one and a common theme currently is people migrating bad data from old legacy systems and ending up with the same data hell that they thought they were leaving behind in their new target systems. So maybe this is something that is familiar to you, or maybe it's something that your colleagues face, or maybe it's something that you might be challenged with in the future. So something to take into mind. So Martin touched on this briefly yesterday, and I don't want to go into too much detail, but just for those that weren't able to join us, DQ was founded 25 years ago after implementing CRM systems. We quickly realized that CRM systems are great when storing data, but really rubbish at managing the content. So this is one of the reasons that DQ was founded, to overcome the challenges that, to be honest, are even more prevalent nowadays. So we won't go into this now, but I think the recordings are being posted on our social media / websites. So if you signed up to the event, you should receive them if you'd like to go into a little bit more detail. So really today, I'd like to introduce today's real metaphor, which is really about data being the fuel to our CRMs. And like all fuel, there are multiple different versions. We get low quality crude oil, which won't burn very nicely, clogs up machinery, and really has some nasty effects downstream. We also have the opposite to that, which is a refined, slick version, which can really propel your business forward. And the analogy we're going to use is propel much like a rocket ship. So if you can fuel your business with data that is managed correctly, then this can prevent a lot of downstream negative impacts, which I'd like to just touch on a little bit further. So like I said, talking about these negative downstream impacts, I'd just like to add a bit more perspective and run through a couple of scenarios that we see day in, day out, which result in poor data quality. So I'm going to take you through scenario one, and then we'll look at some of the impacts after we've looked at both scenarios. So let's look at a company that's just about to implement a CRM system. Maybe they have very little or no data to start with. So actually, in one sense, it's great because they don't have any data quality issues yet, at least. But we're very, very good nowadays at integrating lots of different systems to then silo data to a CRM. So yes, we're great at throwing data into a CRM system for marketing and sales to then follow up on. Let's say the marketing and sales directors want to boost sales. So decide to buy maybe 100 or 100,000 records, maybe 1 million, to then silo into the CRM system. The sales and marketing team have invested a lot of money into this data, so we would like to see an ROI as soon as possible, so that they decide to just throw the data into the lead entity. When this occurs, you then get records that might already exist or do already exist in the CRM system. Marketing, sales, email and call these new leads, soon to discover that they are already customers. So let's think what impacts that might have, and I'll wrap that up in a minute once we finish scenario number 2. So scenario number 2 is slightly different, but really is leading to the same problems down the line. Company XYZ merges with ABC to consolidate their CRM systems, and as the cost is too high, maybe companies were merged in the past, and really they want to have one system that is one source of the truth, with a single customer view or a single record view, which we will speak about in a minute. So company X spends a large amount of money on a newly customized CRM system with all the data that is migrated from numerous legacy systems, let's say 5 to 10. Employees start using the system as management's release the system ready to be used, and lo and behold, there are now 10 Microsoft London Paddington that exist in the new target system. So we've got a problem. And this has not just occurred for Microsoft Paddington, but it's also occurred for multiple records in the system. But what does this mean? We've now got a frustrated CRM user who has no source of the truth. We've wasted time and resource on leads who are already customers. We've got customers, prospects that are fed up of being contacted X times per week, per month, per year. And we've also got potential damage to the company's reputation, with customers thinking company XYZ must not value my business enough. So the IT team then receive complaints, as it must be the IT team's problem, and get frustrated that their newly implemented CRM system isn't receiving the warm welcome that they worked so hard to develop. So they're now frustrated. So now let's look at the big picture to resolve this problem. Companies now throw more time and money at the problem. They get interns, they get graduates to sort through databases to find duplicate records. Or even worse, they get the sales or the marketing, IT teams to spend a percentage of their day to clean up their database. This really annoys the sales team, and that has multiple prospecting to do, and really impacts sales down the line. Marketing cannot successfully segment their audience. They cannot deliver a targeted message. This has a downstream impact of a reduced number of leads per month. They don't meet the targets. They lose faith in the data. They complain to IT. IT says the data was bought by sales. Sales says they spend enough time already dealing with the data. So no one has any ownership over this data quality issue. So bringing it back to our car and fuel, much like a car, if you do not put good quality data in your CRM system, then it doesn't move or run efficiently, much like misfueling or not fueling your car at all. So what are we trying to achieve here? Many companies are overwhelmed with duplicates in their CRM system, and they cannot get one single version of the truth. So for marketing, it ends up in overspending, as we've just seen. Sales and customer service are frustrated by the lack of contact or having a full picture when they're going into an opportunity or speaking to a customer. And then we get the BI or BAs who then have poor reporting, who have to spend a ridiculous amount of time fixing what is caused by poor data foundations and then gleaning incorrect business decisions when they're handing it to the management team. This then has a downstream potential damage to the reputation of the business. So different sectors have different terminologies, but really this is a cross-vertical problem that impacts all industries. So you've probably heard of the terminology single customer view, which, to be honest, should be used in a retail fashion. We have in the medical industry, we have single patient views. In hospitality, we're talking about guests. In membership or not-for-profit, we're talking about single member views. But really, it's a single record view, and it's all the same problem. So really, it's a multi-industry, cross-vertical ongoing concern. And that is why we have highlighted that this is an issue and developed an industry agnostic solution that we believe overcomes this. So just to introduce Perfect and Merge, which allows CRM users to find duplicates and then bring records to a review process so that they can decide which records need to be kept and which records need to be merged, ultimately leaving you with a single golden record, which is what we were speaking about just a moment ago. So what I'm going to do is just take 5 minutes to give you a brief feel of Perfect and Merge. So I'll just switch off this screen now. And one moment. The demo gods will hopefully look favorably on me. So here we have a demo environment for Perfect and Merge, which is has Perfect and Merge hosted in it. And for some of you that are not familiar with CRM systems, we have a load of contact records here. And if we go and look in, this might be familiar of some people's CRM systems where there are multiple or potentially multiple duplicate records. So to show you what Dynamics provides in terms of a merge functionality, all you can do is tag 2 records. If you tag 3, it doesn't allow you to merge them. So we're looking at a one-to-one scenario, and we go to merge these records here. We get presented with this screen, which allows you to tag which record is you would like to keep as your master, and how you would like to change any attributes so that you can make a perfect record before you merge. So, I mean, fine if you have 2 records, but not ideal if you're dealing with multiple duplicates. So here we have an ability to manually tag multiple records and then bring those to a review screen, and we can then make an informed decision seeing all of those 6 records next to each other. So here we're able to see all of the different attributes that we would like to display. We have one master record. We then have duplicate records, which we can then scroll across and decide what attributes we would like to take across to then make our perfect record. So let's say we take duplicate number 4. That is the record we would like to take. We can promote that record, and that will populate our master. But now what we want to do is go to duplicate number 1, and cartoonist here is the job title we would like. So we can then populate this across. We can also provide inline editing, which will allow us to add extra information or edit information on this duplicate record. Once we've done that, we can then accept and merge, where we will keep this master and deactivate all of these duplicate records. So we are left with just one single golden record. So let me just do that there. And we'll just wait for that to work in the background. There we go. And we can see here now we only have one record of Gail here within our CRM. So yes, that is one way to deal with duplicates, but really the power comes in presenting duplicates rather than you going through and finding them yourself. So if we go in here into Perfect and Merge, here we have the methodology that we run a session in a certain entity to find duplicates and then present them back to the user. So here, yes, we can run millions of records, but just for demo purposes, we fed in some duplicate records to find. So we fed in 223. We found 127 duplicates, and they have been grouped together ready for our review process. So let's go and review those duplicates now. And here they are all listed out, and we can expand those groups ready for us to go in and review. So you can see some have already been merged and some have been grouped together. Like I said, maybe you have multiple Microsoft accounts. So here we can now go in and review these duplicate records. And again, we go through exactly the same review process that we have just seen in order to go through group by group and perfect the records within your Microsoft Dynamics. Going up another level, this is a manual review process. If you would like to add some automation, then we are able to add an element of best record detection and an ability to be able to select best fields in order to automate the process rather than go through these records manually. So here we can promote the best record. And what that does is goes through and searches through these 4 or 5 duplicate records, and through definable rules decides which record is maybe the most complete, which has been modified on most recently, what record contains a certain value, etc., etc. So we build up rules-based logic in order to automate the process so that you don't have to waste hours on end of the manual review process. So that is fine in a group level, but really the power of that comes when we have all 54 groups here of duplicates, and we want to go through and select the best record out of all of those groups, go and fill the best data from all of those duplicates, and then go and merge the records automatically so that you save time in the review process. So that is an ability, we call it bulk processing of duplicates, where you can promote the best record, fill the best record, and then go and accept and merge so you keep the best record and deactivate all of the duplicates. So that hopefully gives you a feel of the product. I won't go into more detail today, and I'm just about to switch back into our presentation now. So like I said, we had a quick look at the product there, but really the value is in looking in real world examples. So here we have Countryside Alliance, who are a membership organization, and they had a challenge when implementing a new CRM system and really wanted a data management tool for the start of their journey, the implementation, but also an ongoing tool that could deal with the ongoing management of their data quality challenges. So they decided to implement Perfect and Merge, and in doing so, improve their data quality, which had a load of downstream effects. They saw that the increased trust in their data increased user adoption. There was more accurate reporting and analytics, which led to then more personalized marketing campaigns. And as a result, led to greater membership engagement. So really this was a story of unlocking their business application so that they could trust the data and make better informed decisions. We have one other testimonial or case study here that I'd like to look at from RICS, who are the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors. And they had a slightly larger duplicate challenge on their hand, where they found 18,000 duplicates in their database. However, they came to us and they were on-premise dynamics, and they wanted to move to the cloud, much like many companies are during this COVID pandemic. So they came to us, had no idea about the scale of the challenges that they had ahead. They wanted to unearth the size of the problem, and then they wanted to combat that problem. So they implemented Perfect and Merge, installed it on-premise, and in running sessions like we've just seen, unearthed 18,000 duplicates in their database and used the process of automation combined with human review to unblock their data quality challenge, and that allowed them to then migrate to the cloud. So as you can imagine, to manually find 18,000 duplicates and then compare one-to-one would have been an incredibly tedious task and near on impossible. So I'd just like to wrap up today before we go on to a few questions. So feel free to start sending them in now. But just to summarize, we introduced the history of DQ Global, briefly touching on what Martin spoke about yesterday. Like I said, the recording will be shared around. I also introduced the metaphor of data being fuel, and the fuel often being neglected within CRM systems. We looked at a potential solution to overcome data quality challenges in Perfect and Merge. And then we wrapped up looking at two real-world examples where hopefully it puts a bit more context into what can really be unlocked and released when the data challenges have been overcome. So what I would like to do is welcome any questions, and I can see some coming through in the chat now. So let me just show that there. Right, Kevin. Does the system allow for auto matching person based on gaining enough confidence and automatically survive fields? Is the demo right now more of a clerical review function? Okay, so my previous question was answered. How do you ensure you're a person because your data is kept up to date? How do we know a customer has moved address, still on the phone number? Valid. I found that can be ensured. Great question, Kevin. Yes. So I think if we look to start with about the foundations. So a lot of the people who are coming have big problems in the foundational data. So duplicates, they want to get a grasp of getting rid of maybe 10, 20 duplicates in each group. Once they do that, then they want to start enriching their data. So they want to start to looking at a cleansing aspect. They want to see, are emails valid? Do they have the correct syntax? Does this address block even look like an address? Does this phone number have a certain amount of the correct number of digits, etc.? So what we can then start to do is looking at a data cleansing task, and rather than cleansing duplicate records and then costing an arm and a leg, refine everything down so that what you are cleansing is then cost effective and really has a positive impact down the line. So I think that's something that Martin will be touching on tomorrow with DQ for Excel and DQ on demand. So I definitely think that will also be answered tomorrow, but great question. We've got Stephen Dan. How easy is it to implement Perfect and Merge? Good question. Slightly, I'll give two answers to that. One, on premise, slightly more difficult because we have to go in and install on your side. But again, a few hours, we're able to get up and running. In terms of online, you're looking at within an hour, half an hour maximum, minimum, to get up and running, provisioned. And then really it's a training process of working with someone like myself to I know the product very well, you know your CRM system. We put 2 and 2 together and it's a match made in heaven. So Dan, hi Conor, really useful introduction, great. Do you plan on making it possible in other CRMs, other dynamics? Good question. Yes, we are looking at, we've just implemented the new UI. Some people might see. This is the first time we're showing that today. Looking at opening up this to other CRMs, Salesforce, Zoho, etc. So definitely something that we're looking to do in the next 3 to 6 months. So look out, if you're not on Dynamics or looking to help someone on not on Dynamics, keep an eye out, and yeah, we'll be releasing that soon. Kevin, once you have merged duplicate records, is there an audit trail available so you can look back on it? Indeed. Okay, good question again. Obviously we have the out-of-the-box solution that Dynamics gives. To add on top of that, we add a custom entity, sorry to be technical, to track all of the changes that we make when we're merging records. So we can see what values have changed, where they have come from, and really track the changes that have been made so that if any mistakes have been made or people would like to see an audit trail, then they're getting that data served up to them on the account or contact record form. Perfect. Kevin, do the tools plug into CRM solutions to continually monitor, DQ, and flag potential duplicates? Okay, another question from Kevin. Again, something that's being released in the next 6 weeks is a point of entry capture system. So that is, a record comes in, it goes to, well, there's 2 ways we can look at this. A record gets added to CRM, a plugin gets fired, it goes and triggers a search into CRM, and then this can be added to a review queue within Perfect and Merge. So that is one way we can deal as a point of entry barrier, firewall. The other way is an in-live search, but with more fuzzy logic built into this, so that rather than just keying off an email, we're building a phonetic token, which allows us to take first names, last names, phone numbers, etc., and build up a token, go and fire into the CRM system, and bring back duplicate records that are potentially duplicates, bring them up to our review screen, and then the user can decide whether we add them to CRM or not. 1 minute, questions keep on coming in. Just for another one from Dan. How foolproof are the automated tools? Is there a possibility of removing incorrectly editing genuine data? Or can this be circumvented by the other users? Okay, yeah, good question. So automated rules, we try and build in logic there so that I didn't show you in the demo because we ran out of time. We build in, when we're building a session, scoring. So we decide what threshold do we want to bring back, decide to bring back records. Are they 95% the same, 100% the same, all the way down to 50% the same? Obviously, we don't want to be automating a process where records are 50%, 60% the same. We want to be sure that they're duplicates to start with, and really just selecting the best record and filling that with the best data. So what we do is keep the scoring high on the automation to try and get rid of 80% of the duplicates that don't need review. We automate that process, and then what we do is lower the scoring down so that we can humanize the records that need review. So if they're ambiguous, we bring them back, and then a human can make a decision. So hopefully that answers your question, Dan. Right, I think we are there with the questioning and we've reached time. So let me just finish off. Thank you for your time today, guys. I would just like to highlight Tomorrow we have we have three other sessions for the rest of the week. We have tomorrow an official launch event for DQ for Excel and DQ on Demand, which touched on one of the questions we had today. I think that would be really useful to tune into that. We have Sunny Bath from DMG Events talking about his data strategy roadmap, which will be very interesting, a very interesting insight. And then Martin will be wrapping up the week on Friday with the DQ Leaning Tower of Data with a DQ Studio Masterclass. So I hope you've found today interesting. Feel free, if the questions, any questions come to mind, pop me an email and I'll be happy to have a chat. So thank you everyone, and hopefully speak to you soon.